Hey everybody, it's Junior Developer Happy Hour React30 edition. Uh, Thanks for joining us on Father's Day. I forgot it was Father's Day, but hopefully you guys are having a good Father's Day. This week's one is pretty short, anyways. Just I'm not sure if there's anybody new. We're just doing JavaScript 30. We're doing them in React though. So this week we're just doing this CSS text shadow mouse effect. It's just about like there's you can put CSS shadows on stuff, text shadows. So we're gonna do that and then revisit mouse move event, which we've used a lot in the past. And just give you a link if you're not following me on LinkedIn and you want to connect. That's my LinkedIn. Thanks, Brian, for the JavaScript 30. That's for the code. Let's get the code sandbox. And I've been doing mostly the driving the past couple of weeks. So if anybody wants to drive this week, just let me know. We can put you in the hot seat. Here's the live link for the code sandbox. Anything else? Any questions before we get started? Hey, what's up, Tanvir? Haven't seen you in a while. Unless you've been lurking and I didn't notice you in here. Let's see. Oh yeah, Brian dropped the Slack. If people want to join on there. Oh, that reminds me. I was supposed to have virtual coffee. We never got to meet up. There's a channel inside of the Slack. It's called Virtual Coffee. Oh, right there. Brian got it. He typed faster than me. If you want to join that channel, you automatically get paired up randomly with somebody just to meet other people. Every 2 weeks, 12 pairs get matched up. So you don't get matched up every 2 weeks, but if you want a chance, just join the channel. As soon as you join the channel, you can get matched up. Just a good way to meet people in our community. Okay, if there's no questions, we can just get started. This week is there's not too much to this one, and we probably won't go as deep as Wes Boss did on it. He's kind of just messing around with this one, and there's just like text like flying all over the screen. So we can just try and keep it simple with just like one text shadow, I think. That's the finished copy. So let's get the CSS first, like always. So get the CSS, place all that. Let's get rid of this. Let's just use his code. So what doesn't it like about that? Emoji should be wrapped in a span. Is that accessibility thing? Yeah, complaining. So that's what we talked about last week. Yeah, install your accessibility tools if you want to be notified of issues with the code you write. So what is this saying? Span. Emoji should be wrapped in span. Having role image. Let's just leave it for now. We can fix that issue later. So right now it doesn't move around, but if you look, the reason why it's double like this, even though there's only one text on the screen, which is whoa with the emoji fire, is because of this text shadow. So if I like comment that out, it's gone. So yeah, this text shadow is what's causing this double whoa. So what we want to do is when we like move the mouse around like this, the shadow like moves in the direction of where the wherever you're moving the mouse, but then we don't want it to be like all the way where your cursor is. So we'll have some way to make like a maximum like that it can like drift away from the text. And we can just copy Wes Boss's, he does a little equation to calculate so that it never moves a certain amount away. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can do it, but we'll just probably copy his equation. But we are going to do some things a little different since we're working in React and he did it with vanilla. But before we attempt that, does somebody else want to try and do it in Drive, or do you guys want me to just do it again? Because I don't know what I'm doing either, right? I watched the video, but I haven't done this in a long time. I've done the JS30 many times in the past, but not recently. Nobody? Okay, I can just do it, or I can attempt to do it. Let's see. So the first thing we got to do is, first of all, I just want to see, let's pop open the console, see what this is complaining about. Content editable. So it's complaining about that.
Yeah, I think the, isn't it in React going to be camel cased? So
yeah, it's
capital E for editable.
Yeah, does it even work? We don't even need the content editable though.
Yeah.
He just did that so you can like change the text like this, but that's not really important for this exercise. Let's just get rid of it.
Oh, and then name after class for the div class name equals 0.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah. Okay, let's see what else is it complaining about. Okay, that's everything. Now we just got the accessibility issues, but we can leave that for later. Okay, so first thing I wanted to do is like when I was like watching the video and he was explaining the hero, I didn't know which part of the screen was the hero, so I had to like open up the project and like inspect the DOM to look at it. So let's try to do that just to give us an idea of like one way that you can do it, you can just like make the background red. So as you can see, the hero fills up the whole screen. So that helps you understand what we're gonna do, because we're gonna do an out on mouse move event. So now that makes sense. Like whenever you're moving it, we can just put the event on this hero because the hero fills up the whole space, the whole page. So it, no matter where on the screen we move it, it will pick up the mouse event. Because if the hero was only in the center of the page, it would only pick up the mouse move like while we're over it. So I just wanted to show that's like one way that I check what like how much of the screen is covering up. I just put either the background to like red or yellow or something, or I put a border on it to like, so it, sometimes I just leave it on the whole time until I'm done and then I remove it. Okay, so we're gonna need an on mouse move event. Mouse move. So we do this. No mouse move. So one thing I want to show you, let's just console log some stuff first. So the hero itself, I believe, is the e.current target, because the current target is usually whatever element you applied the event listener to. I believe so. Let's validate that assumption by console logging this. So you can see I was correct. I'm getting the hero div. At least I think I'm correct. So one piece of information, like for the people out here last week, I always try to like figure out all the data part first to like gather all the data I need to do what I need to do, and then I figure out like how to render the thing. So I do need to know where this hero is, because I need to know where the offset is, like how far away from the left border it is and how far away from the top it is. So one way we can do that is, so this is one way. I'm gonna attempt to do it in a different way than Wes Boss. He used like offset left, offset Y, but then he had to do like this adjustment in case you were hovering over somewhere here or directly the text. In my brain, I think that's not necessary. I think there's a way to do it using the client X and client Y. So let's attempt to do that. I could be wrong. I didn't try it out. And this kind of stuff is not like my super strong suit. I just Google and copy paste stuff when I'm doing stuff like this. So let's see. Let's get, first of all, let's see if there is client X on here. There is no client X. So what can we get? Get founding. So I'm trying to see how to get the, so from that, we can get the left. Oh, my assumption is wrong though. The hero goes all the way to the left and all the way to, so in my brain, I was thinking about it incorrectly. How about if we do, I guess Wes Boss was doing it right on this one. So let's just grab some of his code. He was getting it from the hero, the width and the height, and then offset. So let's just copy some of this stuff. We're gonna keep it simpler though, so I'm gonna delete some of this stuff. So let's comment out this. We're not gonna need all that. And then we're not usually using this. So instead of hero, we're doing dot current target. Remember, we just figured out how to, that the current target is the hero. So we saw there's a width and a height. What he did is, well, he actually got, let's comment out to make sure I got that part correct. So console.log with height XY. Let's make sure we're getting all of that stuff. Okay, so this one, I know why this one is not coming out, but let's forget about that for now. This is because in vanilla, you get the native DOM event, but in React, you get a synthetic event. So let's figure out if this information is available on the synthetic event by just console logging the event itself.
Is client X and client Y available on the event object itself?
It is. So I believe it is. So let's see. So this is what the synthetic event has. So we can see if we want, we can access the native event. But let's see what else we got on here. So there is no, see when React wraps it, there's no offset X and offset Y. We'd have to get that from the native event if we want that. So let's see. So if we did use client X, client Y, then we could do, let's just keep it simple and kind of follow Wes Boss's logic, because it kind of does make sense. Let's just translate his logic into React. So in React, we wouldn't be, since these values offset X and offset Y are not on the event, we have to grab it from the native event. And as you can see, we can grab it. And so instead of E, we just say dot native event.
Native event.
And then I believe now this should be, now it's coming out to the correct numbers.
Mhm.
So that's one thing some people get tripped up on. I mean, I still get tripped up on that. I just got tripped up on that right now. But I knew that, I knew this issue exists, that React makes a synthetic event. But if I do need to reach down and grab the original DOM event, which has more data on it, like these offset numbers, then that's when you reach down for the native event. Any questions about that so far? Current target or native event? I think the other weeks for people is here, we went over the difference between like current target and target, because there's e.target and there's e.current target.
Oh yeah, actually, can you quickly, I don't know the difference between those two.
Okay, yeah, so current target is what you apply the event to, so like div. But when I'm hovering over the H1, that's the actual target that triggered the event and just bubbled it up to the
to the thing that's listening.
To the thing that, so any child will trigger and bubble it up because it's doing a mouse move on anything inside of it, any child. The target will get bubbled up into e.target, so you can access whatever event the specific DOM node that you hovered over, that will be accessible via e.target. E.current target will always be whatever you attach the listener to.
I see. Okay.
I think. I think that's correct. Let's see.
So target is H1, current target is div, right? If you had your mouse over H1.
Well, if I have it over here though, target and current target is both. We can console log it just so we can see the difference. Let's do e.target. So now I'm gonna clear this, and then when I see all hero, both target and current target, but when I go over here, e.target is whoa, but the current target is still hero.
Gotcha. Interesting.
Okay. It seems reversed to me in the naming. I would have thought that current target would be the thing that you're most immediately over, but obviously it's the other way around.
I don't make the rules.
Yeah.
So it might be hard to remember, but you can always just Google. But like, it will, just seeing this once, it will probably be in your brain someplace. So when you run into a bug, a lot of times people just like try out target, and if that doesn't work, they switch it to current target. That's what I did for a super long time, but now it's like more clear in my brain. But yeah, so let's get rid of that. Let's just keep this consistent and call it const. It doesn't really matter though. So instead of this, e.current target should work, because we just want to make sure you have to, oh, that's why he called it let. My bad, West Boss.
Yeah, he's changing them.
So he's like, if you're hovering over the wall, you have to adjust it a little bit because the offset, and this is not gonna be target, right? Remember, we got to do native target to get the offset left. Just because the offset left is based on that element compared to whatever the parent is. So you need to adjust it. When I'm here, we get the correct number, but then when we're here, we have to add the offset plus the X to adjust it a little bit. So, and then let's just stick with his, oh, we need his walk numbers though. He got this like huge, let's just make it 100. I think in the video he did 100. Let's do 100. Oops. So the walk, he calls it a walk. I think he just made that up though, because like the shadow is kind of like walking around. I guess, I don't know, maybe why he calls it a walk. So that just kind of like, he just made an algorithm so that it doesn't go too far away. You can set like how much, it's like a rubber band is like attached to it and not letting it like go farther away than it should. But the other thing we're gonna need to do is, so on here, I think the text shadow goes on here. Let's see. So he has the shadow on the H1, yeah. So we're gonna override it with inline styles instead of imperatively setting the styles, because we could imperatively set it, but we're doing React, so we don't wanna do that. So if we're gonna declaratively set the values, we need some state so that we can, in here, we just set the new value of the state, and then when it re-renders, we'll put it in line on the H1. So it's more reactive to do it that way. Like you could do it like this, but you won't see this often, I think, in React code where you're imperatively setting the styles, like, because we have a handle to the DOM node, right? We have e dot, oh, we don't, when we're mouse out here, we don't actually have a handle to the to the H1. So we would, in order to imperatively do it, we would have to set a ref on it, and
yeah,
we don't want to do that. We want to just set state, or I don't want to do that at least. So let's do use state. Look, I did that again every single week. My brain always wants to type equals there for some reason. So let's do, let's just call it X walk, Y walk. Oh, what am I doing? Let's do, yeah, we can just, yeah, now we'll store it in two separate variables. Set X walk. State. And then we'll just start it with undefined, I guess. Oh no, we'll start at 0. I think it'll be fine to set it at 0. I think if the walk is 0, then there'll just be no shadow, I think. So we'll do that. And then instead of setting these variables here, we just do set X walk. Oh, if I can type. And then set Y walk. And then we're gonna put them on the style. And then we say text shadow, and then do some interpolation here, and then we'll just copy this. So we'll just do one. So I was correct. Oh, what is it complaining about though? Emoji. I was complaining about the emojis again. We'll fix that accessibility issue in a second. But as you can see, it's working. So that's I don't want to go into the crazy thing that he does where there's like walls all over the
going
place.
in different directions.
You probably wouldn't do that. Actually,
Yeah.
That's why on a production app, what he did is he just made it go in every single different direction, which is not super interesting. So if you want to try that out, you can try it out on your own. But I was thinking of stop for questions, and then we can try and like fix this accessibility issue. Maybe. Let's see. Okay, is there any questions about any of that stuff?
So it seems like there's because I come from vanilla JavaScript and like sucked at class-based React, and then finally like functional-based React made sense, and then went back and it's like, okay, now I get why classes were a thing. But it seems like you're right. You run into the same issue with like events because you assume, like, especially when you've started with vanilla JavaScript, that you have a bunch of stuff available to you, and then you start doing it, and then you realize, oh wait, no, they're like synthetic things, or the things that you were expecting from that.
Yeah,
they're not there, right? Or they're there, but you kind of have to like work for it.
React tries to create abstractions to like help you out, so you don't have to learn the whole DOM API.
Right, but like for this case in point for this, right? Like rather than synthetically like go apply a style to rect element on the DOM and like do all that stuff, you're just setting it within a style within the component, right? So you're not having to like you're leaving it in one place and not having to like, I guess, be imperative or
That's the React style, because React should figure out how to manipulate the DOM. Usually you want React to do that because it figures out how to efficiently update the DOM. So you want to stay away from updating the DOM yourself.
See. It's a hard habit to break.
Yeah. So if you see yourself doing that, just know that's not really the React way to do it. You might run into actual bugs when you do it, because I don't know how it might React might try to update the DOM when you're updating the DOM, depending on what you're doing, and it could cause some issues. So there are some people that like that and some people that don't like that. From what I've heard, I haven't tried Svelte yet, but I heard Svelte gets back to like it feels more natural, like you don't have to learn this new like React APIs, but I haven't tried it, so I'm not sure.
I like not writing a bunch of code, so I kind of like React.
I'm a huge fan of React too. I like I like it.
I did the old like do it imperative way, so I kind of like this, let React take care of most of this stuff that I don't know what I'm doing, and React does. So
yeah, I actually started with jQuery, so I went jQuery, and then I learned more vanilla, and then I went to like frameworks. So I did jQuery was just the easy way to get started before. So nowadays some people might be starting with React before they learn like vanilla, and I think that's okay. React makes it more fun, but eventually you gotta, if you're going to be a React developer, you're going to be a lot better if you learn all the vanilla JavaScript stuff as well, because sometimes you need it. And then you'll understand what React is doing under the hood too. When you have issues, it will help you
I was gonna say,
understand like,
that's the
oh,
bigger part, right?
I need to actually get the native event because that has way more information on it. React doesn't give me all that stuff, but it does give me access to the native event if I need specific things.
Makes your job a little easier if you understand what's actually happening as opposed to just writing things down. Go, yep, it works. It's cool. All right,
Yeah,
next thing.
that's why people fight about that all the time. Which way is better to learn, bottom up or top down? To me, I just say do whatever helps you learn. People learn in different ways, right? So you can just go back and forth. That's kind of what I do. I'll learn fundamental stuff and then go up, or I'll just jump straight from the top using some library abstraction and then figure out like how that stuff is actually working if I need to later on. But I go both ways. So I don't really get into those arguments. I'm just do whatever. Do whatever helps you learn the stuff faster.
It's fair.
Anybody else have any questions before we try to solve this accessibility issue? Nope. Okay, let's try to do this then. It's helping us, it's telling us what to do. Emojis should be wrapped in a span, have row image, and have an accessible description with ARIA label. Okay, let's try and be a good front-end developer and provide some, make this more accessible. So saying, let's just go one by one. Let's do the span first and let it complain again, just to make sure I'm doing this correctly. Have row image, oh, so the error didn't change. So row image, so I guess that helps screen readers out for the emoji. And then what else? Accessible description with ARIA label. So with the, would you just say fire emoji, I guess?
Seem logical.
Wouldn't the screen reader know how to read an emoji? Maybe it doesn't, I guess not.
I think it's because it's not technically like well, yeah, I guess if it, I don't think it does. I don't think it does actually read an emoji. I guess the reason why you have to do a span and explain exactly what it is.
Technically, that should be possible though. So hopefully, hopefully the screen readers can get up to date because everybody uses emojis, right?
Yeah.
So,
hey, Sam, I have a kind of a trick question for you, and it's I guess it's also trivia.
Yeah.
What is the length in JavaScript of an emoji? Of a single emoji?
I have no idea. We can console log it to see. Let's see.
I think the fire is 1, but I think that the thumbs up is 2.
That that unexpected character.
You have to quotes.
But you have to put quotes on it. Okay. Two fire emojis.
Yep.
2.
Yeah. Yep. I love JavaScript.
Yeah, isn't it UTF-16?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we actually listened to the linter and fixed the accessibility issue this week instead of ignoring it. Okay, that's it for this exercise, but you guys can ask me any other questions if you want since I'm here. If you have any other questions about anything.
Do you have any tips for life after post bootcamp?
Yeah, just keep going and don't give up. Some people get discouraged because it's super hard. Your first job is your hardest. I think most people would agree. Your first job is your hardest, and you might get lucky, but just don't give up. My personal advice is try to find a project to work on, like something that's fun. I would make Chrome extensions to do stuff that I wanted to automate. Like when I first graduated, like there used to be this this company called Jukely. It was kind of like Netflix for concerts. And it didn't make any sense in the beginning because they were just burning VC money, because I was getting free concert tickets to like Treasure Island Music Festival and all kinds of stuff. And I only paid $30 a month or something like that. Or maybe it was more, but I got like $500 worth of concert tickets every month. But they had a thing where like when the tickets came out, they only gave out a certain amount. So you had to like click it like right when it like came out, but you could only take one ticket at a time. So another ticket would open up if somebody canceled it, so they could like get a new ticket. Every day they release like new concerts. So you got to pay attention, because if you see something else that you like, you got to cancel yours and grab the other one real fast. So I built a Chrome extension that I didn't put in the App Store. I just loaded it in my browser and I left it open. And it would just keep trying to click the ticket to the concert that I wanted, because as soon as somebody canceled, my thing would grab it right away because it was just clicking it all day long. So I never launched the app because I didn't want other people to have this. I only made it for myself. So you can just make stuff for yourself too. It's just make these small tools. I think some junior developers get too ambitious and they're like, I'm gonna make this like crazy project that's like that's like another Facebook or something like that. And that could be a good idea depending on how ambitious you are, but it also could get you to stop because it's not as easy to complete that project. For me, I like to do small projects because I can do it to completion. And then I can just do another one. And I just do all these small projects instead of like a super gigantic project. So yeah, that's what I did. Just projects, and share everything you're building. Just have no shame. Just share it on social media, share it in our Slack channel, show it to your friends. Try to join meetups, and like sometimes they have like lightning presentations. You can apply to do that, to like show off what you made. Just share everything you're making. Otherwise, people don't know that you can make anything. So you want people to know that you can make stuff. And that's better than just making a portfolio and putting it up, because you're being proactive. You're promoting your own stuff that you're making. So I recommend doing that, and like 100 days of code, so that it's you're learning in public. I think that's the #1 piece of advice I give junior developers now, is learning in public, because based from what I see, that seems to work for everyone that does that. I talk to a lot of junior devs, and the ones that are being successful are the ones that are like took that advice and started learning in public. I've mostly only seen good results as long as they were consistent about it. Like some people give up before the 100 days are over. Some people keep going. Like, I don't know if people know Yoel. He's doing like 700 something days of code. He hasn't stopped. So he went through 100. He got a job before he hit the 100-day mark, I think. And he wasn't doing any of this before. And then I noticed as soon as he started doing the 100 days of code consistently, he started getting a following on LinkedIn. And I don't think he was very active on LinkedIn before. But then he started giving presentations at meetups and doing all kinds of stuff. And then, so he graduated from General Assembly, and then he before he finished 100 days of code, he was able to get a job. And even after he got a job, he just kept doing the 100 days of code, and he's still doing it. So that's another thing. Like once you get a job, I don't think you should stop. But you should like. I've been doing software engineering for 8 years professionally now, and I haven't stopped. I'm doing my own meetups now, you know, and I'm still continuing to grow my network. So like as soon as you get comfortable, you can like make your own YouTube videos, you can put together your own meetups, reach out to meetup people and ask if you can like present what you built, or if you learn something cool, you can ask to do a lightning talk about something you learn. The free code camp, there's meetups all over the place. I gave a lightning talk at free code camp that you can usually find a Slack in your area, I think, for your local free code camp chapter. And they're really junior developer friendly, that community, I find. And it's a really big community. There's like a lot of people are learning to code from free code camp. So the community is like really big. So yeah, join Slacks, build stuff, meet people, join our virtual coffee channel. This is the easy way to just make sure you meet new people. And if your area is starting to have meetups again and you feel comfortable, start venturing out and going to meetups. In Tulsa, we're starting in-person meetups again. And so I used to go to tons of meetups in San Francisco. I think when I graduated from the boot camp, I went to Dev Boot Camp, which I found out, I've been saying this whole time that Dev Boot Camp was the first boot camp, but I was talking to Monarch from Mint Bean. Some people are here. Mint Bean, the founders did an AMA with Junior Developer Happy Hour. It's on Brady's YouTube channel. If you got the link, Brian, if you can drop Brady's YouTube channel. There's an episode with Mint Bean. Check out Mint Bean if you're not familiar with Mint Bean. They do like these, I think they call it learnathons, so that it's not as intimidating as a hackathon where they give you starter code and everybody like tries to build. There's like a theme every week. But he is doing research for an article about the history of boot camps. And then I was telling him about Dev Boot Camp and how there's this Hacker News post that gave birth to Dev Boot Camp. And that's how the whole boot camp industry was born. And turns out I've been wrong about that this whole time. There was a boot camp before Dev Boot Camp. I think it's called Full Stack Academy or something like that. But I found it while I was trying to dig up the Hacker News. He actually showed me a Hacker News post that was like dated a couple weeks before that Dev Boot Camp post. And I guess that other boot camp already existed and they were doing Ruby on Rails too. That's what Dev Boot Camp started with. But yeah, I went to Dev Boot Camp. I was in, I forget which cohort, pretty early, like 6th or 7th cohort, I think I was in. But I forget why I was talking about that. But yeah, after the boot camp. Oh yeah, after the boot camp, I was in San Francisco, so I went to meetups almost every single night to eat dinner and to meet people and to learn stuff. So couldn't go wrong. It was just free dinner, free meeting people, free learning stuff. And all it took was walking from my house to the place. That was one of the nice things of living in San Francisco. And San Francisco is a small city, so usually I could just walk to all the meetups. But yeah, I think those are my main pieces of advice. I think I've said that a lot on Junior Developer Happy Hour for people who used to come to our AMAs. Any other questions?
Sam, what's your thoughts on like when you're looking for your first job, like post boot camp, on like, should I be focusing on just continuing to make like small projects and just completing things to be able to talk about in interviews, or should I be trying to lean harder into like the data structure algorithm thing?
It's gonna be different for everybody. So it depends what kind of companies. I would research what companies you want to work for first, because then you can research even if you even got to know that stuff for the interview. A lot of them you don't. A lot of them the interview is just practical. They'll just say build this. They'll show you a GIF or a mock-up or something, and they'll say, okay, here, build this. Ask me any questions you have. They want to see what kind of questions you ask is also a really important part of the interview. They want to see how you communicate. Like if you don't have enough information to build this thing, what kind of questions do you ask so you get the right information to be able to build it? That's part of being a good software engineer too. You got to know how to ask the right questions. But for me, it all depends on your financial situation too, because, and if you have a family and stuff like that, like I just single, so I didn't have a lot of money in the bank, but I did not look for a job after I graduated boot camp. I just kept hacking. I just wanted to get better. And then opportunities just arose just from being in the community and going to meetups and volunteering and doing hackathons and stuff. And then my first couple of jobs, I never did an interview. I just got referred by somebody, and then the company was like, this person said you can do it. Just come to the meetup. Just come to stand up on Monday or whatever.
Wow.
Well, my first jobs were like, they started out contracts, so it's not as big of a risk for them.
Yeah.
Because they could just be, after the first week, they could just be like, this guy sucks. Let's just get somebody else, you know?
Yeah.
So
after boot camp, you had a different job and you just kept like building projects in your free time, or?
So I never had a job. I rolled my bank account to almost zero. I had I went down to, I think I had less than $1,000 in my bank account. So I was paying only like $800 a month rent at the time. I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment in San Francisco where we paid like $3,000 a month, but there was like 4 dudes all sleeping in different corners on like air mattresses. But it was like a luxury condo, so we could, like, if there was too much people in there, we could go down to the lounge and just like hack in the lounge of the condo. But the 3 people I was living with were dead bootcamp students, so I had the house. I had graduated already, so they were gone almost all the time. Only late at night when they come home to sleep, then there would be like a bunch of dudes all in this room. So I was only paying $800, so I rolled it all the way down to my last month, and then I was actually helping my friend with a startup, so I just kept doing that because he fed me. The company, the startup had a credit card, and he just used it to buy us food. So we weren't getting paid, but we were just getting fed. And I worked on that for 4 months. And then after that, I started asking around more, just people I met if they knew of opportunities, but I wasn't like applying for jobs. But I had to stop doing that free work when I noticed that I didn't think we were going to get funding. So luckily something came up when I was at a meetup. I just ran into somebody who didn't want to do their contract job anymore, and then they just passed it over to me.
Wow.
And then the opportunities just kept rolling in because people could see, they referred me because they could see I could build stuff. Like I was like doing pretty good in hackathons. and I would always share on social media like all the stuff my teams build at the hackathons and stuff like that. And so that's why people started referring me, I think. And then, I got a shitty contract job, but I learned how to work with a real team and do real production code and
Got paid to code.
yeah, and I just worked at the boot camp, just mentoring. I worked at that boot camp as a mentor. I worked at General Assembly as a TA, and I did all of those things, so it was enough to pay rent. But then eventually I got a full-time job, and then I got to focus on mostly doing that instead of doing like a billion different things. But so you can also check out Martha Sharp. She did a similar thing. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She was also on Junior Developer Happy Hour. She's pretty popular in social media because she's a self-taught developer, and she lives a nomadic lifestyle. So she's living in an RV right now with her family and kids and stuff. Her YouTube channel is pretty good. I recommend subscribing to her channel. But she did a Junior Developer Happy Hour, and she talked about how she was applying for jobs. She's self-taught, and she wasn't getting anywhere. And then it wasn't until she stopped looking for jobs that she got a job. I forget why she rage quit at some point, like applying for jobs, and she switched her strategy to just learning in public, like I've been talking about. And then she started to get traction. She got most of her traction from Twitter. I think she had some stuff that went kind of viral, and then because you never know what you post is gonna go viral. It just could be like something you would never think, but if you just keep posting everything you're doing, for some reason some things just go viral. And she got like a React Native job, I think, even though she wasn't doing React Native, she was doing React, I think, or maybe she was doing React Native. I forget what her story was, but
is this the Martha Sharp at Starship?
I forget which company she's at now. She just started at a new company, so she was.
Oh, okay.
Let me see.
SARSHARPE.
Yeah, let me try to find her YouTube channel.
Her Twitter is right there.
Okay, and then this is her YouTube channel.
Okay.
And then if you look up on Brady's YouTube and just search for Martha Sharp, there's the AMA she did with us, and she talks about how she wasn't getting anywhere when she was actually applying for jobs, and then she started getting offers once she stopped looking for a job. Yeah, the job market's really weird. It's more about who you know. I mean, that's not just specific to tech, that's just jobs in general in the world. I think it's a lot of people get their jobs through just people they know.
True. Like the referrals and everything people really trust.
Yeah, so if you just make at least one post a day, at first there might not be any activity, but just keep doing it consistently, and eventually you start interacting with people, just commenting on each other's stuff, and then you become contacts, and then people start seeing your stuff in their feed eventually. But like, I wouldn't worry about I don't like people who try to it's not genuine. You can tell when they're trying to growth hack and trying to get engagement. That seems, I think that turns a lot of people off. It's better if you're just genuine and just post what you're doing and what you're learning. You don't need to go ham with hashtags and stuff like that. Just who cares if you don't get engagement? you never know who's gonna see what you posted and like connect with it. And then if you just do it consistently over time, you will start meeting people just from posting. Well, I think you will.
I think that's right.
can't,
Yeah.
I can't guarantee it, but
Yeah, Twitter, I think is very powerful. If you, I mean, I've learned that from you, Sam. Like, Twitter is very powerful for being able to connect to any developer around the world.
yeah, because Twitter is the only place where you can just try and talk to anybody, and like they might not respond because they get a lot of people, like the popular people get a lot of people like commenting and DMing them and stuff. But like sometimes they respond. And then you get to talk to somebody you would have never been able to talk to like in real life. And a lot of like opportunities arise from Twitter, I think. Even like I made my first friends in Tulsa from Twitter because I just moved to Tulsa in February. And yeah, like the first person I made friends with was was from Twitter interactions.
That's cool.
Yeah, it just
I
turned out
tried
we had a mutual friend, and then that mutual friend was in town, and I had like comment on it like, oh, I didn't know you're in town, and the other person like DM'd me, and then we started talking, and then we met up for coffee, and now we're friends.
Oh.
But what are you gonna say? Somebody was talking.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say like I've applied through jobs. I haven't gotten jobs through Twitter, but I've applied to jobs through Twitter. Job postings happen all the time through like even DMs, like, hey, this job isn't posted, but if you're interested and since you're part of the community, send me a DM.
Yep, those are the better ones too, because if it's not posted,
yeah,
then there isn't 1,000 people that applied. Only the people that saw that tweet get referred by that person. People offer on Twitter all the time. They're just like, anybody's interested in this.
And then people will retweet, and then it's all pretty wholesome most of the time. Like,
yeah,
people try to help each other out.
So my suggestion for social media, especially if you're not a social media person, is to get started, follow all the companies that you like, and then podcasts that you like, people that you like, and then every time you hear of something else that sounds interesting to you, stop and add them on social media. That's what I do. I've been doing that for like 10 years. I listen to a lot of podcasts, I watch a lot of YouTube, I read books and stuff, and whenever I read about something or hear about something interesting, if it's a person or a company, I immediately look up their social media and I add them on like everything. Mostly it's Twitter and LinkedIn, sometimes YouTube channel, depending what it is. But that's my strategy. So I follow a lot of people on Twitter, but I'm always refining the list. So I follow like 3,500 people or something like that, but I'm always like unfollowing, muting people, blocking people. I'm like actively trying to refine my feed to give me signal so that I can stay 2 steps ahead.
What's a coding podcast that you'd recommend?
Wes Boss's one is good.
Oh, okay.
Syntax FM.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll check those out.
Yeah, Wes Boss is awesome. I mean, that's what we're doing JavaScript 30. I really like Wes Boss. He like puts out really good content. For YouTube, I like Lee Halliday. I talk about that all the time because I like his YouTube channel. Get the link. I used to do a lot of stuff with maps. That's how I kind of found him, because he made a lot of like Mapbox and Google Maps and React map stuff. So I started watching it, but he has lots of good stuff. I've been watching his Next.js stuff recently, and I think he explains stuff. His demos and his explanations are all really good.
Cool. I'll check it out.
So yeah, he's pretty popular.
I like all the little images he's making all his videos. That's a cool, like, little aesthetic he's got.
Yeah, so he's good. And then as you start watching these videos and listening to the podcast and stuff, they'll talk about like other people and stuff, and then that's how you just keep following more and more.
Or the YouTube algorithm will tell you who to follow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
true.
too. Or the Twitter algorithm might tell you who to follow too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But sometimes it's somebody you want to block. So it just takes a little while to learn how to use the tools effectively. But once you learn how to use social media, it's a really good tool.
Nice.
Yeah, just all it is just like tools to help you meet people and to just gather information. But there's so much noise out there, you got to figure out how to filter the information. It's too much information. That's why humans can't really process all the information. So you got to like try and figure out how to filter and get the signal that you want to get.
Yeah.
Try to filter out people just like who just fighting about stuff, and just try to get information so that you can make your own decisions.
Yeah, no, I've used Twitter for years for comedy. I'm like, do a lot of like comedy in New York, but I
awesome.
haven't like dove into like the coding Twitter world really yet. So when you were talking about like people that like try to like growth hack, there's like a big thing, I'm sure it's everywhere, but in the comedy world where people will follow like 10,000 people and then try to get them to follow them back and then go through and then like delete all those followers. So then you just increase how many people followed you.
Yeah, that's a tactic that a lot of people use, I think.
Yeah. It's also weird when you know them and you're like, you unfollowed me for what? Like,
but yeah, there is all kinds of growth hack stuff. People were just copy pasta exact other people's tweets or posts on LinkedIn that got a lot of engagement, and they'll post it like that they made that. Like
Yeah, I see.
Not even a shout out to the person who originally posted it, not a retweet or reshare. They'll just copy pasta and make like they said that.
Yep, I see memes from Reddit and then memes show up on Twitter like 20 minutes later, or vice versa.
Yeah, those are all growth hack kind of stuff. I prefer people who are more genuine. I don't think it's bad to repost stuff, but like at least give the person a
Credit.
shout if there's no attribution. Like Twitter, if you copy a video and you post it in yours, Twitter will give attribution to the person who originally posted the video, even if you didn't retweet it. So I think that kind of stuff is fine. But like copy pasting some JavaScript joke that somebody else posted, I don't know. You're just like, you just seem thirsty.
That's true. Yeah.
You can tell who's genuine. That's why especially when people are learning in public, like I don't know if people follow Chung Ao on Twitter, on LinkedIn. I saw that guy go from not knowing how to code, and he got burnt out recently, but like he was going ham on Twitter, LinkedIn, and I could see him just getting better in real time. So I would like actually refer him to like people. I think I did refer him to like a recruiter. Because I get a lot of inbound. So whoever's on top of my mind, I'm like, why don't you check out Chung? He might be able to do it. I don't want to do it. Oh yeah, he's doing freelance stuff. But I don't think he got a full-time job yet. I think he's just been like, just from LinkedIn, I've seen him like help people, like people who are building stuff, and then I've seen collaborations come out just from like the post on LinkedIn. But I only noticed because he was like consistent, and he actually reached out to me. He actually interviewed me. He like slid into my DMs and was like, "Can I interview you?"
For like a podcast or just a thing he wrote or just for fun?
He just wanted to interview me just found out how I broke into the industry. I don't know.
Oh.
Some people are just super hungry, and you could tell like he's really hungry. He would go ham, but I think that's why he burnt out. So that's one thing you got to watch out. He was going ham, like too ham, like he was just coding all day, every day. And then he burnt out and he disappeared for like a month, I think. So
That was me last month.
You got to find the balance, which is hard, but you got to pay attention to not go overboard, because when you burn out, then you lose your momentum. It's better to just be consistent without burning yourself out. Same thing with like working out or anything, right? Like if you go too hard, you get hurt, then you move steps back, you lose your momentum. It's the same thing with learning how to code. You just got to learn how to just keep getting a little bit better every day. Meet 1 or 2 people a day at least. And as you just keep going that way, everything will just keep accumulating, and eventually you'll see the payoff. It will probably take a while though, but that's the same thing with like working out, right? You don't see benefits unless you be consistent and you keep doing it.
So the first few weeks of exercising sucks, especially when you haven't done it for a bit. But then like your body gets used to it, right? Or you do like what everyone does, you do P90X for like a whole week, and then you like your arms hurt and you're like, I can't do anything anymore because I overdid it.
Yeah, that
I think I'm in my 20s.
You lose your momentum. It's like once you make something a routine, then you keep doing it every day without thinking about it too much. But then if you injure yourself, and in coding that's burning out, then you lose momentum, and then you like then you lose momentum. You gotta start back, and it's gonna take you a while to like get back to the same place that you were at. So that's just one thing that's hard to figure out. But over time, you kind of like figure out your limits and just realize that you can just code for the whole day, all day, every day, like make time to like do normal things too sometimes, but be consistent at least do 100 days of code where you're committing to do 1 hour of code a day. That shouldn't be, I don't think you'll burn out from coding 1 hour a day. You shouldn't. I don't think so. If you do, then maybe try something else.
Not the field for you.
Because you're
It's
gonna
only
have
get worse from here.
Yeah, once you get a job, you're gonna have to be coding more than 1 hour a day.
The hard part for me for that is like I have a desktop and I can't, if I go somewhere like for like let's say a small vacation, I can't code. I'll write on Google Docs and I'll write my programs in Google Docs.
Yeah, but how often you go on vacation? Like if you go once a month, that's fine, right?
Yeah, I go once a month.
Yeah, that will help you not burn out. Then you just go on your vacation and unplug, and then when you come back, just make sure you get back into the routine.
Well, no, I wouldn't be able to do the 100 days of code because I don't bring my computer.
Yeah, but you don't have to do it every day for 100 days. You can
Oh, it's just 100 days. Okay, I didn't know that. I should read the rule set.
I mean, ideally, it's supposed to be 100 consecutive days, but
Yeah.
also, you know, human beings are human beings, right? We all have lives,
Yeah.
and like so. It's
Yeah.
one of those things where like I'm sure it's like it's the habit, right? Like if you do something for like I don't know 20 days, 30 days, whatever amount they've research says, it comes ingrained, right?
Yeah. So like as long as you stick to it and then you do it every day, go do your once a month retreat, come back and make sure you do it when you get back.
Yeah. Yeah.
You just want to be as consistent as possible without burning out. That's the main thing. Okay, I'm gonna go now, but it was good chatting.
Oh, Sam, can I? Quick question. Could I send you a message about your NPM tool later on, like during the week?
Which NPM tool?
Didn't you make an NPM tool in this house?
Oh, my meme generator?
Yeah.
Yeah, just message me on Slack.
Yeah, cool. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, you too.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Oh,
Bye.
I like to turn this off. I lost the Zoom controls. Where is it? Oh, I moved to the other screen.